Welcome everyone to Dick Storks and Destinies. I'm your host Chapel, and today I'm here with Ken and Crash. I'm sorry, the kid and Crash. Ken's not with us today. Um, eh,
When the fuck did I change fucking everything about me?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
when did he get taller? Or is him and Ken the same
And
height?
They're about the same height.
and skinnier.
You got that summer body ready.
Yeah.
Instantly.
You got it ready for the winter time. Good job.
Yeah. And today we're talking about bad horror movies and bad horror remakes.
And we all know about that one because Chapel is a bad horror movie.
I'm a bad horror movie.
His
Yes, you
girlfriend
are.
don't think so. She likes waking up next to him and doesn't get scared.
That could be debatable.
Oh, what happened?
Even
You seen
Chapel's
yourself?
like,
It depends on the day
even
and
Chapel's like,
what
you
I
know,
ate the night before.
that's debatable right now.
Breath mint.
Okay, so what horror films we want to talk about?
Well, in the 70s and the 80s, all the horror films was like a sex, anti-sex, because if you was having sex
Well, I mean, it's if
in
you
the
were having
movie,
sex, the killer was
the
going to
killer
kill you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
we
Yeah.
went from not having sex to survive the killer to running upstairs, locking yourself in the only room that you can't get out of.
Yeah, it's one of those.
right.
Is there a window? No. Why did you pick this room?
I've
It's
never
also like running in the woods and falling down,
Yeah.
and the killer just like steadily walking behind you, and you're sitting there going, "Ah, it's after me."
That's the
Well,
thing
get
that I
up and
never
run.
got and understood was with the horror genre. Period. Like the killer is like 100 yards away from you,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see the killer coming,
Yeah.
and you have you have two options. I'm not even saying they're viable options, but you have two options. One, the sanctuary of a house with multiple rooms in which you can hide in, or the creepy woods next door. And they all chose the creepy woods next door.
Yeah.
Also, at that house could be a car you could drive to get away. Unless it was one of the earlier Halloween movies where Michael Myers was driving the station wagon. So he's he's after you walking and driving.
Oh no, it gets worse because in some of those horror films, yeah, there's a car parked right out front of the house. They climb in it and spend 20 minutes trying to fucking turn it over.
You seen the keys? I thought you had them.
Or the horror movies
Nope.
where like they get into the car and it's like and suddenly the car just does not work. It's worth the whole movie. But now it's like, nope, we're out of gas.
Right. We we drove 3 hours to get here on a tank, and now we can't drive the.
We had a full tank of gas when we got here. Somehow we magically ran out of gas.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so funny enough, recently I rewatched the original Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
good movie. It's very, very poorly written. The rules are kind of all over the place. You don't
Are you
know.
talking about the original
Yeah, I'm talking about the
Nightmare on Elm
original.
Street?
Yes, I'm talking about the original.
Okay.
The rules are just kind of all over the place. It's like, well, how did he get this power? What's going on with it. Not to say that the second one was any better. The second one was by far the worst of the entire series. But a lot of people give it a lot of credit for, and it wasn't, in my opinion, a really good film. The remake
It,
was
it, it, it
god
was a
awful,
good
but
it was a good film for what it was. This was just a horror film slasher, blood and guts.
Hey, for once, I was having the technical difficulties, so I don't know what y'all are talking about.
we're
Nightmare on
talking,
Elm Street.
yeah, the original,
Oh, okay. Okay. Don't fall asleep.
yeah. And you can only
Yeah.
like I think I looked into it. You can only stay awake for like 2.5, maybe 3 days before you die from not sleeping.
Well, I mean, without some type of chemical help, yeah.
Yeah. Me and the kid there loaded up on energy drinks and fruit gushers and did not sleep the whole entire day. You
Fruit
remember that, don't you?
gushers, that does it.
No, the energy drinks as well.
Yeah.
It's like, what was the purpose of staying up? We don't know. We had nothing better to do.
Uh.
Just because we wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about the remake? Because I have yet to watch the remake, and I don't think I want to either.
You don't. It's even worse than
It
the
was
original.
actually on TV. Yeah, it was actually on TV the other day.
Yeah. It's not very good. It's even worse than
Yeah,
the
seeing the
original.
new Freddy Krueger versus the guy that actually played him in the older ones, you're
Hmm.
like, that's not Freddy Krueger.
We're not sure what that is. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
like
That's
an
the thing is Robert stopped playing Freddy uh right after Freddy versus Jason.
yeah.
He literally told them all, including I don't even know if Wes Craven was still alive at the time, but he told them all. He's like, I'm done. I can't play this character anymore. I'm getting too old. It's too taxing and demanding on my body. And I applaud
Yeah.
the man for it because he stuck with that franchise for God knows how long.
Yeah. He pretty much made that franchise.
Yeah.
By
Unlike
far,
Michael,
by,
Michael
by
Myers,
far. Go
Michael
ahead,
Myers changed quite a few times. The
Crack.
person who
Yeah.
played him.
Yeah, but
But Robert
you were able to put a mask on that and hide whoever it was.
Robert though he made that franchise and by far the best Freddy Krueger version that there's ever been.
Yeah.
And no, I give you that one, Chapel. That the movie was kind of poorly written, but this is also back in I think that film came out like in the early '80s.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that was
So
the
I
big
mean
horror days.
the 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 filming process was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Unlike our filming process now, which is mostly fucking computer generated images.
That's why I didn't really like the Flash movie. Too much CGI.
Yeah, that was the problem with the remake Nightmare on Elm Street. It was not very well done, and you could tell it was mostly CGI.
What's the other good one? House of a Thousand Corpse or Bodies. What's
House
the
of a
one
Thousand
where the
Corpses.
that's the one where the guy's face painted as a clown, right?
Captain
That's
Spaulding.
yeah, Captain Spaulding, and he's only in it for like a very like at the very beginning and the very end, and that's it. Like he's in the sequels, but he's not in the first movie.
I don't even remember the second film,
Uh,
but the third film is Three from Hell.
yeah, the second film is The Devil's Rejects,
That's it.
which
Yeah, Devil Reject.
I actually enjoy The Devil's Rejects.
I did too. And out of all the Rob Zombie films out there, the those were by far his best pieces of work.
Yeah, do not watch The
I
Monsters. Oh God, that was
I
Don't watch the
bad.
I
what?
The Monsters movie that
the
he did.
Monsters. I liked the first Halloween remake that he did, but number two is just god awful.
Yeah,
And Crash mentioned it. Michael Myers was whoever played him was always changed, but yet again, what you said, Chapel, is Myers is the mask and the coverall jumpsuit. So long as someone can fit in them, it really doesn't matter who plays him.
yeah,
Yeah, now the new Halloween's back with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Uh, that shit just fucking. They have like blown that
We
fucking timeline apart.
yeah, we need money. Let's keep making movies. But
Well,
we wasted
they did dub Jamie Lee Curtis at one point in time the Scream Queen. So
yeah. Scream 7 is supposed to be happening.
oh
Courtney
god,
Cox is supposed to be back in it.
dear fucking lord, how many more are they gonna make?
I don't
all of
know.
them.
It's a newer because they did that TV show Scream Queen or whatever. That
Hmm.
was
Uh
about
huh.
the Scream movies. Now they're just actually making more movies to the series that it what it in with Scream 4. I don't
Yeah,
even know.
Technically, Scream was supposed to end at 3
Yeah. So is Fast and the Furious, but they're working on number
because
11.
we got full circle closure from Scream 1, 2, and 3. Because the plot of 1 is Billy wanted revenge against Sydney for her mother ruining his parents' relationship.
right.
Stu was just the fall guy. So we move on to 2. They're in college now.
Yeah,
Billy's mother wanted revenge against Sydney for killing her baby boy. And I don't even remember the guy's name, but the actor that played him was Timothy Olyphant.
hmm,
He was the fall guy. In Scream 3, there is no fall guy. The director, which is also Sydney's half brother, Roman, confessed to the whole fucking thing. Like, he is the reason why Sydney's life has been so goddamn tragic. He kickstarted it all because he was pissed off and angry because his mother rejected him. There was no point to continue on from 3.
yeah,
After that, we had full fucking closure. But oh no, they decide that 4 was going to kick off because Sydney's cousin was jealous of the attention and everything else, and she became the fucking killer and started it all up again.
yeah.
And apparently, somewhere between 4 and or not anywhere between actually not 4, but somewhere in 5 and 6, it's discovered that one of the killers is the illegitimate child of Billy, and they're just
Billy was getting
seeking
around.
approval from their seeking approval from their dead dad. I guess I don't fucking know.
I don't know. I didn't see the newest one.
Yeah, I didn't either. I wasn't.
I
I
didn't
I've
was
watch
not
seen
anything
interested.
after Scream 2, I don't think.
I've seen four. Well, I've seen the first, second, third, and fourth one. After that, Scream 5 and 6. I just fucking I'm done.
It's like Scary Movie. The first couple are good, then the rest are just,
Yeah, it's
y'all are
downhill
just
from
making a
there.
movie to make a movie. Yeah.
After Scary Movie, I watched the first and second one. After that, I they were just too fucking retarded for me to continue watching after that.
Yeah, I can't really blame you for that either. Let's see here. Yeah, but okay. Has anyone seen the Hellraiser remake? Came out a couple years ago.
No, I haven't.
No.
I was supposed to watch that last year, but I didn't get to it.
Uh, it's it's okay. They of course they changed Pinhead because I can't remember his name at the moment, but he can't do it anymore. Um,
The original actor.
yeah, but so you have the original actor. He can't do it anymore, so they get this. They get a new take on it, and it's so they make Pinhead female in this version, which I don't really care. That's fine, whatever. Um, but the things they do in the movie and the way they kind of get around to doing things just never really made a whole lot of sense to me. And
So what you're saying is don't watch it.
yeah, it's
Gotcha.
it's not really good.
It's about like Cabin in the Woods with the guy who played Thor, Chris Hemsworth,
Yeah.
because all the monsters were coming out of ground underneath the cabin. It's like, huh?
Well, that one had a premise, and the idea was is that you had this government agency that had all these monsters underground, and they knew about these old gods that existed, and they needed a ritualistic sacrifice of a certain amount of teenagers, um, to keep them pacified, or they would just kick off the apocalypse, basically. And the workers were taking bets on who was going to live, how long they were going to live, and who they were going to get killed by. But towards the end of it, it, the apocalypse wound up getting kicked off anyway. So it was just, I don't know. That one was okay. It wasn't terribly written, but um, I could understand why someone wouldn't enjoy it because it didn't come off exactly like a traditional horror film. It came off more of a spoof of a horror film. Um,
Cabin in the Woods.
yep.
Don't we have? Didn't we have like a film like that already?
It's called Wrong Turn or something. I don't know.
I think you're
Uh,
thinking of Cabin Fever, and that's a different
that
kind of
that yeah
movie.
that's what I was thinking of as Cabin Fever. My bad.
Yeah. Uh,
Too many. We had. Let me put it this way: there's way too many fucking horror films where the setting is an old ass fucking cabin in the middle of the woods.
yeah.
Yeah.
Evil
Have
Dead.
y'all seen? Yeah. And there's more Evil Deads.
Yeah. There's what, two or three more
Three.
Evil Dead now?
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. I just know that there was three originally.
Yeah, there was Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and I think Army of
Evil Dead
Darkness.
3 was the Army of Darkness.
Yeah. And then you have the Evil Dead remake, which I heard was pretty good, but I could be wrong. Um then I think there was a sequel. I know there was a sequel to the Evil Dead remake, but I don't remember if there was one or two sequels.
I don't know.
I will look it up. We will find out.
Have y'all watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah, I have.
I
That
have
dude
two.
actually runs around with a chainsaw out in the middle of the town. It's like, wow. And now
I've
the
seen
newer
the
version,
original, and then I've seen multiple of the multiple remakes of it.
yeah, that's another one. We drove here. Yeah, they damaged our car, but the sheriff car is right there. Let me just take the sheriff car.
Yeah.
That is like classic horror film recipe. It doesn't matter what you're driving; it's all going to eventually just fail in the time of desperate need.
Okay,
Right.
so the Evil Dead remake only has one sequel, and that's Evil Dead Rise.
Didn't they make a TV show for that shit too?
That's I think Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yep.
Let me look.
Hey, what was the one with Simon Pegg where he was wasn't Hot Fuzz? Him and
No,
that dude that always in a movie with him, they did like a zombie thing.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead. And I will say, uh,
I liked it. It's
yeah,
funny.
I loved Hot Fuzz. I thought Hot Fuzz was amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, what was I going to say? I don't remember.
The Evil Dead TV show.
Yeah, they had. Let's see. There's an Evil Dead TV show. I think it had like 3 seasons, but it looks pretty good. I haven't watched it yet, but it's one of those things that I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to watch. Because it's got Bruce Campbell as Ash in it. So
Yeah, that's the thing about him in that series and everything else. Something I've discovered: his full name. His parents really must have fucking hated him, or were hoping that he was a girl, because his name is Ashley.
Oh, yeah. So speaking of bad horror movie remakes, um, I started watching the remake of Salem's Lot before we started the podcast today.
Oh, I actually watched that one.
What'd you think?
It was cheesy,
You roboted out there. I'm
but
sorry.
sorry. Can y'all hear me better now?
Yeah, yeah.
It was cheesy, but it wasn't terrible. It could, considering the fact that it comes from a Stephen King book, it could have been better
Yeah.
because literally his books are the entire plot line. You could write the script from his books, and you can pretty much just go from his book to fucking on screen and be perfectly fine.
Well, I had already seen the original version uh, of Salem's Lot, and I enjoyed it. The thing was, is what came to things like the story and the way they did it. There wasn't a whole lot of build or anticipation. I didn't really feel nervous watching it. It
I I I didn't really get any anticipation or build up in the remake.
mm-mm, I didn't either. Um,
Like the moment that they sacrifice the kid and the other brother gets turned into a vampire, it's literally like 10 minutes passes and the whole fucking town is transformed into vampires minus like 5 people.
yeah.
Hey, thanks for giving away the plot to the people that never seen it.
Well, to the people that have never seen it, go watch the original one. The original one was a made for TV version. I think it's about 3 hours long, and it's a lot better.
You know I ain't got time for that.
Were you going to watch this one?
No,
Okay, then. What are you complaining
I'm just
about?
saying. I'm just
What,
to the
why are
other
you
people.
complaining? You're not like a there's not that many people out there that like a good vampire story anyways.
No.
They're all still fucking enamored with Twilight and everything else.
I sparkle.
Um, I don't know. I didn't like the way they redid some of the story and changed some of the aspects of the story. Um, no, I don't know, man. It was. I still
The
have to
thought was
finish it.
there, the thought was gone.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what happened with with what they had planned for the movie. The thought was there and then it was gone. And you can tell there are certain things that were done, like you can, if you watch carefully, you can see where like a scene was cut short and there was a lot more to the scene that they just cut out of it. And it was almost like they made like they were like going to make it a series and decided we're just going to make this into like a 2 hour film.
Well, going back with the vampire thing, people probably watched that. What was it? House of Blood,
House
the
of
one that
Blood.
came on uh, Showtime or whatever.
I don't know. I would watch that. That
Blood.
sounds
It was called Blood.
blood. Okay.
Yes. Let me make sure. Because it started the girl who played. Hold on a second.
You talking about True Blood
True Blood. There you go.
Gotcha.
with the chick that Anna Paquin,
Yeah.
who played Rogue in like the first two X-Men
Yep, that one.
films?
It actually came on HBO.
Right. That's not a vampire film. That is just softcore porn with vampires.
Still vampires.
I don't understand what the problem is. I don't think our
Of
listeners
course not.
understand what the problem is.
I said softcore porn, and Jeff was like, I don't see where the problem is here.
And you're telling me this? Why?
I thought you were trying to.
Now I've got to watch it.
I thought you were trying to tell me not to watch it. Then you say stuff that intrigues me. Oh.
I think out of the entire 7 seasons, there might be maybe 20 episodes that have no nudity or sex whatsoever.
Well, it's funny because
those are going to be the 20 he's going to miss.
yeah, it's funny you
Fast
mentioned
forward,
that
fast forward.
because Game of Thrones was very similar. When they started out, they had a lot of sex and nudity in it, but they still had like a really good story. And then when they were like, we're going to cut out a bunch of the sex and the nudity. It's like they were like, we're also going to cut out a bunch of the really intriguing conversations and interactions between our characters. And we want to rush.
I'm not saying that True Blood isn't a bad TV show to watch. But as far as their vampires go, sunlight kills them. Silver fucking hurts them.
Yeah.
And it's not just the vampires that are in there. They've got werewolves. They've got fairies. They've got
Shapeshifters.
changelings.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense to me.
Shapeshifter, changeling.
I mean, you're going to tell me that you live in a world where vampires exist and then tell me that werewolves are out of the question, though. They're completely...
No, I'm not saying that these creatures aren't out of the question. It's not what they built it for. They built it to circumvent the vampires and vampire society because the vampire society was coming forth and trying to basically become legal citizens inside the United States because they were once human beings that were turned and they were considered dead and everything else. So they were trying to basically merge with human society.
Okay.
The werewolves and the changelings or the shapeshifters and everything else, they live normal lives because they're not dead.
I could just see it now. The really poor take on like a vampire racism. Like two vampires walk into like a cafe or something, and someone goes, "God, it smells like death in here."
Well, they actually do work at a bar. Some of them.
Oh no! You see that because the main vampire in that, his name is Bill. And when you first see Bill, he goes into a restaurant, sits down, and no other waitress would serve him but one. Because he's a vampire.
Well, how do they know?
They could tell.
Like, is it pretty obvious? Is he like gray skinned and mottled, like the way you would expect a corpse to be?
Yeah, they was very pale skinned.
Yeah, the vampires are paler skinned than normal human beings.
Gotcha. Okay. I was going to say, or is it like, was he like twinkling in the sunlight?
No, that would actually have made this TV show a hell of a lot worse. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's like Vampire Diaries, but for slutty, horny teenagers.
Well, the thing is didn't those two shows come out about the same time?
Yeah, roundabout.
Yeah, because there was like True Blood, the originals, and Vampire Diaries were all coming out around the
No,
same
Vampire
time.
Diaries and then the originals.
Teenagers wasn't supposed to be watching
Yeah,
True Blood, anyways.
look, True Blood was released on HBO for a reason. Like I said, it's literally vampire softcore porn. The only thing you don't see is actual penetration.
Okay. Good to know.
We watched it up close.
Jeff was like, I'm gonna go watch this.
Well, I'm just like, that's interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
if you got Max, you can binge watch all of the seasons.
Funny enough, that's where Salem's Lot remake is on. It's on Max.
That's where I watched it at, was on Matt.
You know where I'm not going to watch it on?
What?
Max. Y'all
Crash
can
is
watch
like,
Max
I'm
all
not-
you want to, you bunch of weirdos.
Oh, yeah, we're the weirdos. Okay. I mean, I'm not denying that I'm a weirdo, but
He's the fucking pot calling the kettle black at this point. He's friends with us.
Yeah.
If
you
he wasn't
chose
some
us. You
sort of-
don't.
if he wasn't some sort of weird in his own right, he would have never chose us as friends.
You chose this. You chose us. There's literally no reason for you to stay around other than you want to.
The kid was on a technicality because he tried to get me in trouble for a broken finger, and I would have done the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like touche there, buddy.
So, did they do a Jason remake? Or a Friday the 13th remake?
I have no fucking clue.
They've done a bunch of them, like Freddy versus Jason, or Jason in space.
They did do a Friday the 13th remake.
Yeah, because it started a dude from Supernatural looking for his sister.
Yeah. Funny enough, the other guy from Supernatural was also in the remake to My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, that one wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't great by any means, but it wasn't terrible.
Especially if you watch the 3D version when the axe comes through.
Yeah. Let's see here. I still need to sit down and watch Alien Romulus before I give my full breakdown of it. I've heard people say it's great, but I've also heard other people say it's actually terrible if you're a fan of the series. And I'm a big fan of the Alien franchise. So
That's what pretty much everybody says about Beetlejuice, the new one.
I watched the new Beetlejuice. I don't care to give my opinions on that. I watched the new Beetlejuice. I thought it was a fun movie, but there was a little too much happening in it. They could have cut some of the content that didn't really need to be there. And then pick a choice on which plot they want to follow. And then they could have focused on more character development at that point. Okay, for example, there's a point because in the original Beetlejuice, there's like there's a father, and the father figure, the actor, is in prison now. Um, and so they just killed off his character. Well, they had like full scenes about his character getting killed off.
Right.
And I'm just like, you didn't have to have that. You could have just said his character died. There was no
You
reason
know,
to have.
they fucking claymated
And
his fucking death scene.
that whole claymation death scene took me out of the movie. That whole claymation death scene took me out of the movie. The rest of the movie I thought was pretty good, but there was that, and then there was the whole thing about Beetlejuice's wife. Like, let's take out the wife, let's leave it a mystery about his origin, and just focus on the rest of the movie. And that would have been much better. However, we got what we got, and it's like, I don't know, like a 5.5 out of 10 is what I would rate it.
I'd give it a solid 6.
I'm sure you give her a solid 6.
Who, Beetlejuice's wife?
I don't know, either Beetlejuice's wife or Jenny Ortega.
Not Jenna Ortega.
Okay, well then Beetlejuice's wife.
Beetlejuice's wife, I fucking recognized her,
Oh,
and she's in the second Matrix film. She's the Merovingian's wife.
gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought there was a little too much going on, and that if they had focused more on, if they had focused more on the story with the family and Beetlejuice, that would have like made things a lot better. I did enjoy like the ghost kid who showed up in the movie, but like they kind of just, well, I don't know. Part of me wants to be like, that wasn't all that great. Like it was a very poorly thought out idea, but it did lead to like other things happening in the film that kind of
Right.
needed to happen. But I don't know. I don't like people just writing in plot devices for plot device sake. Like if you can't figure out how to get the stuff to actually work cohesively, then what's the point? And then there was one point with Catherine O'Hare's character where she's like yelling at her granddaughter, and I just thought this is more like Catherine O'Hare's character from Schitt's Creek. This doesn't seem like Catherine O'Hare's character from the first Beetlejuice movie. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I felt kind of the same way. Like they really dumbed down her character. I mean, her character was incredibly intelligent to begin with. In the first Beetlejuice movie,
Mm-hmm.
but she wasn't. She was a hell of a lot dumber in this film.
Yeah. Did Tim Burton direct this one?
Yes, Tim
Mm,
Burton did this film as well.
Huh. Well, all right then.
and he stated the only way he would do this film is if Michael Keaton reprised his role as Beetlejuice. Without Keaton, there would have been no film.
Well, I mean, Keaton. I don't know who else you could get other than Keaton to do this character.
Right, because he pretty much fit every role he plays.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but also they left him politically incorrect. Like
I wonder if that's the
Beetlejuice,
only way he would have done it.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice said and did shit that definitely would, if people actually got butthurt about it, they would have canceled this film.
Well, they would have tried. They
Or
would have
tried.
failed.
Unless you live in the state of Texas, then you can just throw stuff and get it changed.
You were still upset about that.
I mean, we talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
Should have been called in the first place. Yeah.
We may have to do an episode about that at the beginning.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about the Texas Georgia ball game. So there's a bad call played, or a bad call made by the refs. The I think they were playing in Texas's arena.
Yeah, they was playing in Austin.
Yeah. And the fans did not like it, so they threw trash onto the field to delay the game. And then when the referees came back, they reversed the decision, but then didn't penalize the
Texas
team.
fans.
Yeah, they didn't they didn't penalize the Texas team for the way their fans were acting, which is usually how you would respond to that. That's why you don't see.
We still won.
Yeah, well, yeah, Georgia still won.
But it gave Texas the ball at the 9 after they intercepted it.
Ah, okay.
But if you go back and listen to the rules analyst that's on ABC or whatever, he said somebody stepped up and made the right call. Yeah, it shouldn't have happened 4 minutes later. That's what people were mad about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have to talk about that another episode.
We'll have to make an episode about that one then.
Yeah.
Speaking of remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Chapel, hold on to yourself some way, somehow.
Oh, God.
I broke down and did it.
What did you watch?
He's finally not a virgin.
I watched the Crow remake.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no. It has not done well since it come out.
Oh, trust me, I get why it didn't do well when it came out. Because just like with the whole thing with Salem's Lot, here's all the information you need to make the script. Let's chuck it out the fucking window and go with whatever we want to fucking go with.
Yeah.
As a film in its whole, just the film itself, the film is not bad.
Right.
But as far as as what it's advertised for, the franchising and everything else around it, it is a fucking atrocity.
So they did go and bastardize the.
Yeah, they bastardized the fuck out of it, because to give a premise, I mean, it was given away in the fucking opening of the film anyways, or not the opening, but the fucking trailer to the film. Eric and Shelley meet in a fucking mental institution.
Yeah.
They escape the mental institution together and live life doing whatever.
Right.
He falls absolutely head over heels in love with her. She falls absolutely head over heels in love with him. Good story. Then they went and fucked it up. Because the big bad in this film the X-Men Origins film Wolverine,
Mm-hmm.
Stryker, the guy who plays Stryker.
I think I know who you're talking about.
He's the big bad in this film.
Okay.
He's a human being who's made a deal with a demon to corrupt people and send their souls to hell in place of his own so he can continue to live forever.
That sounds about right.
And that's the premise behind this film. It is a complete bastardization of the Crow franchise. Like, the only thing that makes it the Crow is the fact that Eric dies, gets brought back to life by the Crows, and that's it. Hell, whenever he actually first dies, he doesn't come back to life. Back to life. He's basically alive, but in suspended animation. It's not until the white face paint and the black eyeliner and everything else does he actually become the Crow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the Crow is not a superhero. I don't know. I don't know what to tell him.
Nah, the Crow's just out for revenge.
Bloody, bloody revenge.
Well, he's basically a fucking spirit of vengeance. He's out to, as they stated, put the wrong things right.
Yeah.
Their whole storytelling, their whole plot line behind it all is just a fucking atrocity. Like I said, the film is a good film. I'll give it to them for that. They did well in the film.
Yeah.
But their story and everything else is just no. I'm not even going to say that this is a slap in Brandon Lee's face for his legacy. This is a slap in everyone's face that's ever played any version of the Crow.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've got some other remakes and sequels that I want to watch before I give my 2 cents on them. But oh gosh, yeah,
I'll tell you this: if I would have spent the money that I to go to the movie theaters to watch this film, I would have demanded a fucking refund. But the $20 to watch it in the comfort of my own house, it wasn't really a waste of money. Not exactly. I mean, the only way I'm going to rewatch this film is if it comes out for free.
yeah, no kidding.
That's why I watch all movies these days. Wait for the streaming service.
I mean, if we're already paying for that anyway, right?
Right.
Right.
And it's popcorn is a lot cheaper at my house too.
Yeah.
And I can have as much of it as I want.
Yeah. I don't have to pay for a refill. All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it. That is our time for today. Thank you to everyone for listening. Guys, you got anything?
Now it's time to go to bed.
Yep. Well, guys,
for another 12-hour day tomorrow.
Guys, thank you for hopping on and talking with me. And to our audience, thank you so much for listening. Please like and comment. And if you find it entertaining, maybe send it to someone you like or someone you think might like it.
Or suggest a topic.
Yeah. We appreciate all your input.
All the above.
Yeah.
Hey, did you approve my comment for last?
You know what? Let
not
me
last
look.
week.
Let me look at that.
We all know your comment. Candy corn is the devil.
Mm-hmm. You forgot side note.
Let me figure out why your comment's not showing up. Yeah, it said. No, it should be on there. I'm not sure why it didn't show up. Let me.
Well, while he figures that out, I'm going to bed.
All right. You all have a good one.
All right. All right. See
Have
you.
a good one.